just like a healthy lifestyle is simply disgusting. And if you don't get what I'm saying, let me explain.
This morning I woke up, as usual did my 30 push-ups, poured skimmed milk into my gluten-free cereal and had some eggs.
No bacon, of course. I don't want all my children have cancer.
Afterwards, while I was aligning my chakras standing in Heron position, suddenly I felt sharp pain inside my body. This unfamiliar pain causes me to sweat bullets in fear, so I started googling the symptoms. I've got the bunch. Panicking, I immediately registered for an online appointment with a doctor. As it turned out, I roughly speaking was a walking corpse. Heartaches are the heralds of a heart attack, muscle pains, cancer most likely, and a slight diarrhea is a signal of liver failure.
Of course, I had to undergo at least a basic medical checkup for confirmation of all of those diagnoses. But as I didn't have much time left, I had to put my affairs in order.
First of all, I composed the will. I'm okay. I don't want to overreact, and it was probably enough with sarcasm.
But seriously, I don't know about you, but all of this over-the-top healthy lifestyle crap with all of its successful success pisses me off.
The subject of biohacking is quite questionable, and you have probably heard all of these celebrity advices how you mustn't eat meat and you should live in solitude.
The funny thing is that this trend isn't new. This subject has fascinated a lot of outstanding minds throughout the history.
Sigmund Freud, for example, used to believe that cocaine had medical qualities. Paul Yordach, the greatest mathematician of the 20th century, stimulated his productivity with amphetamine substances. Steve Jobs hacked his body and consciousness with LSD.
This list could go on for quite some time, but I don't see the point of doing it, because the only thing all of these biohackers would have in common is that they are all dead.
If you haven't heard, biohacking is an opportunity to improve one's abilities, live longer and look like that dude from the shampoo commercial.
But let's be realistic. I'm not here to fantasize. I'm not going to bore you with advices how to live longer or how to give up bad habits. I also am not going to tell you about the benefits of the raw food diet and the harms that masturbation causes. We all make our own choices. But in case you want to see the video on how a human sees the world high on jerking off, just let me know in the comment box down below. Instead of all of this, I will try to protect you from the abyss of depression, at the end of which you'd find yourself sitting at home with a week-old beard, dirty hair, complete apathy, not even willing to play your favorite video game.
Today you're going to find out how chronic fatigue feels, what causes it and how to fight it. And of course I will tell you how to hack your body, be productive to the max and enjoy life.
Let me say something up front. In this video, by the term chronic fatigue, I mean the symptoms of fatigue, means tiredness, not an illness known as chronic fatigue syndrome. This syndrome is a very hard thing to have. It's very rarely diagnosed and no one really knows how to treat it. So if you're one of those people who diagnose themselves based on symptoms read on internet, then pay a visit to a doctor first and only afterwards start treating your non-existent illnesses. So the symptoms.
At first you will feel like you haven't had enough sleep, but in the end you'd be under your blankets till the sunset and empty cups from coffee that doesn't help would pile up underneath the bed. But first things first.
But first I perform a little checkup. Don't worry, I'm not from social services or whatever it's called, so you can give honest answers. Write down your answers in the comment box. So first question. Have you ever felt exhausted waking up? Question number 2. Do you know the feeling when everything is falling apart in the middle of the day? Question 3. How often do you feel even more tired in your days off? And finally, were you touched by your uncle inappropriately when you were a child? Okay, that last question you may not answer it. So if you answered yes at least 2 times, then the things are not looking good. Unless of course you're just a lazy ass. And if you are scrolling through the memes until 2 in the morning when you're supposed to be up in 7, yeah, then you know who to blame. So I decided to make this video first of all to share my own pain and for you to find an answer if you suffer from the same crap.
As far as I know, there are plenty of elder women that are strolling in parks with them skiing sticks. You'd probably be surprised, but they don't drink coffee followed by a can of energy drink. But nevertheless, there are more life in them than in you.
I understand that you don't want to wait till retirement right now, plus that would be silly. All you need is a little rehab.
Fresh juices, some water and your unlovable mobile lifestyle. A little walk with your favorite music should fix things up, unless of course you listen to some garbage. If you have any doubts, just put some Eminem on and you can't miss with this one. The problem is you absolutely wouldn't want to go for a walk, and there is only one solution. You have to overcome yourself. And unfortunately, if you don't have any mental problems, then you won't be able to motivate yourself as Shia LaBeouf screaming, "Just do it!"
I think that the main problem with all this motivational crap is that it wants you to change yourself completely and promises something that you will never get. But I will say, you don't need it. You are a cool guy or a lady as you are now.
You still have to work on your habits, but don't expect to get all these hormones that you used to have when you was a kid, when you have enough energy to unstoppably run all day long. You won't be able to run as fast as A-Train from the Boys series, of course if you haven't took something from amphetamine-type stimulants.
Anyway, you still can try some mild stimulators.
If you go online, you'd be advised to take some ginseng supplements, like the ones that students take around the semester finals.
Basically, if your blood pressure is in good shape, then you might try it. But if you get a heart attack, you have never watched this video before and don't know who I am.
Alcohol will not help with the fatigue, or rather it would cheer you up and you'll come back in shape, but tomorrow the apathy would come back and hit even harder.
Fatigue, burnout, depression are all different things with very familiar symptoms. Considering what I do for a living, I must stay at maximum productivity to be able to release videos for you guys. I release a video almost every week, and of course this kind of workload cannot not affect my overall well-being.
As a result, I would just lie down on the couch, turn some lo-fi hip-hop on and didn't want to do a single thing. Meanwhile, I wasn't relaxed, wasn't getting rest. I was simply laying down watching minutes and hours pass. This is a state of dumping activity when you don't want to do anything. You want to sleep, but if you go in the bed and turn the light off, you won't be able to fall asleep.
It's important to understand that no illness just happens out of nowhere.
Illness can be conditionally divided into infectious, hormonal and psychiatric.
What exactly causes apathy only Lark knows. It's logical to assume that the problem is with hormones, but you go and the tests, most likely that everything is going to be fine with your hormones.
There is a theory that this happens because of Epstein-Barr virus.
But I'm not going to go deep in this and tell you what it does to your lymph nodes. Pretty much everyone has this virus, it just manifests itself in some people and doesn't in others.
But if you get tired of your unproductiveness and go to a doctor, he would probably say that you should spend less time in front of computer, take walks and everything else down the list that we've been fed to us since age 12 all the way till the very death.
But there is an upside. I'm not sure it would calm you down, but still. I noticed that stupid people are always in good mood.
I noticed a connection between intelligence and the presence of apathy, depression and so on a long time ago.
The smarter the person, the more he reflects, while simpler people are mostly carefree and their problems are mainly domestic and philistine. But let's stop here so nobody gets offended.
So the whole problem of my state was the lack of emotions. To my point of view, this is the main reason to feel empty inside, both positive and negative emotions. I was consumed by routine. I was doing the same thing day in and day out, odd hours too. Meaning I could start at 9 in the morning and finish at 11 at night. If you are not doing anything productive, doesn't mean that your life isn't routine. Scrolling Instagram all the day is also a hard burden and could cause the same effect.
I know a guy who worked in the office his whole life, and he actually liked his job. The only dream he had is not get up at 6 AM, not to brush his teeth and get dressed while it's actual twilight behind the window.
And I consider it rational. Why did some lark long time ago decided that starting work at 8 in the morning is a good idea? I myself couldn't care less about this log's opinion and think that adapting working hours according to one's specificities and his biological clock is long overdue. If you want to work 8 to 5, fine. If it's 11 to 8, also fine, as long as you stay productive. But let's get back to the story.
My friend changed a couple of jobs and finally started working remotely. He was happy at first. He could finally go to the gym, read books and even allow himself the things we all dream about, an afternoon nap.
And how many times you think he go to the gym?
Let me tell ya, 0. He didn't even touch a book.
He would wake up in the afternoon and felt tired, simply because he slept more than he should have.
And as you know, not getting enough sleep and getting too much of it are two similar states. As for me, getting too much sleep feels even worse.
Waking up, he would spend a couple of hours on YouTube, and it's being 2 PM by the way. Then he would play video games for like an hour, and only after all of that he would start working. And he would take like 15 breaks while he worked.
Cause he wouldn't have a boss who would stop him from getting distracted.
In the end, with great hardship, he would finish work by 11 PM.
At this time, all of a sudden, his body would remember that it got enough sleep and full of energy.
And my body would open a beer and some chips and watch a movie or play games. He would get to bed at 3 PM, plus he would get up a couple of times to get some water because of all of these chips. And this would occur on a daily basis. Finally, he realized that due to his beer diet, he gained 15 kilos, was getting sick often and lost the taste for life.
Thank goodness he has a friend like me, who told him that there are plenty more happiness in life and brought him an ecstasy pill.
Just kidding, I started taking him places and he got back on track eventually.
Well, you don't have to work remotely and do nothing to follow in his footsteps.
If your day reminds you of the Groundhog Day, then most likely you would become the same sooner or later.
The problem is that psychiatric illnesses are often perceived as weakness.
Meaning, if you are feeling sad, just don't.
And that's why your only help is yourself.
Fill your life up with emotions, and it doesn't even matter what kind.
Do the things you're afraid of the most. Tell someone you love them or go skiing. Tell your stupid friend to stop sending you dumb pictures and videos, or go and do something else that requires some big cojones.
Only of course if it doesn't put your life and health at risk.
Trust me, you won't be able to get jacked up on adrenaline and be sad at the same time, so you won't even notice how your mood will change immediately.
I don't want to sound like an epigraph from a motivational book, and I really hate that leave your comfort zone motto.
But it really works, and the saying just comes up itself. Everything is in your hands, and you are the one who has to take the first step.
So what do we have in the end?
Chronic fatigue is quite serious condition, and even though it wouldn't make walk out of the window or hang yourself up, the fact is it doesn't help you have nice and fulfilled life. All you need is pull yourself together and start doing the things that spice up the lifestyle you have yourself accustomed to. If you don't feel better, we can arrange some therapy for you. Just write your story in the comment section. What are you not satisfied with in your life and why don't you have strength to do what you want to do? I read all of the comments and would really appreciate your stories. And with this, let me finish. If you liked this video, please support my upcoming channel with repost. Send this video to your friends because the channel wouldn't grow without it. Do subscribe, click like, and I'll see you in my next video.